Here we are at Aoba Castle Ruins. And here at the Aoba Castle Ruins, there was a castle that was a natural fortification with cliffs on both the south and east side. But over time, the castle has been destroyed by earthquakes, a fire, the Restoration War, and even a bomb during World War II. However, these walls that are still intact were actually restored a couple of different times, and although they have a controversial restoration history, this is what remains. However, there is one piece of history that remains a huge legacy here in Sendai at the Aoba ruins. And that one piece of history, or maybe that one person of history, is Date Masamune. Let's check it out. I left my mark. Here, at the Aoba Castle Ruins, you can find this famous statue of Date Masamune, a man who's famous all throughout the Sendai area, the largest city in the Tohoku region, and throughout all of the surrounding area. Date Masamune has actually been featured in different films, he's been featured in different video games, and advertisements, and even has a manga and anime adaptation for himself. So, what is it that makes Date Masamune so influential? What is it that's earned him the right to have this awesome and fearsome looking statue right on top of the Aoba Castle Ruins, where you can overlook the entire city of Sendai? Date Masamune was born September 5th in 1567, and at the young age, somewhere between 3 and 4 years old, he actually lost his eyesight to smallpox. And there's a lot of heavy debate as to how he actually physically lost his eye, but this loss of his eye would actually become a key characteristic as to who Date Masamune was, and it would earn him the name Dokuganryu, which means the one-eyed dragon of Oshu. Now, Date Masamune, at the young age of 12, was married, and at the age of 14, he led his first campaign with his father against the Soma clan, which they were victorious. At the age of 17, Date Masamune even became the leader of his own clan, inheriting the title of daimyo from his father. After Date Masamune took his position as the head daimyo for the Date clan, one of his retainers actually fled to the Ashina clan. Now, Date Masamune was not happy about this, and so he declared war on the Ashina clan. Now, when he declared war, he was merciless, because he not only declared war on the Ashina clan, but also all of their allies. And in his quest to retrieve and take care of this traitorous retainer, he actually did battle with a number of amicable clans, as well as clans that he had family members in, or family ties to. So, as he was going after the Ashina clan, there was actually one clan that tried to surrender to Date Masamune, and that clan was under Nihon Matsu, another daimyo in the area. Now, Nihon Matsu, when he surrendered, Date actually accepted his surrender, but under one condition. Nihon Matsu and their clan would have to give up most of their territory to Date Masamune and the Date clan. This naturally was not favorable for Nihon Matsu, so when Nihon Matsu came to meet with Date Masamune,
he actually kidnapped Date Masamune's father.
And while he was fleeing with Date Masamune's father, Date's men caught up, and somewhere in the struggle, we're not sure if it was Date Masamune's men, we're not sure if it was Nihon Matsu, or who did this, but both Nihon Matsu and Date Masamune's father were killed. Because of this, Date Masamune would actually seek revenge and would swear that he would get his vengeance against the Nihon Matsu clan, which he would later in the Battle of Hitoribashi. Date Masamune would continue to do battle with many other neighboring territories and clans for many years after. But when Toyotomi Hideyoshi came into power, he requested that all of the daimyo inside of the Tohoku region come to his aid in a specific battle. But Date Masamune decided not to go. And because of this, a little while later, when Toyotomi Hideyoshi became one of the most powerful daimyo in all of Japan, he summoned Date Masamune. And Date Masamune knew that he had no choice but to go. And he was likely going to be executed. But he went with his best clothes, he showed no fear, and he kept a complete composure of attitude. So when he showed up in front of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, although he was burning with anger from when Date Masamune rejected his request, he decided not to execute Date. He was so composed in his stature, and Toyotomi actually said this man could be of some use, and so his life was spared. After Toyotomi Hideyoshi would pass away, Tokugawa Ieyasu would continue to rise in the ranks until he actually became shogun in Japan. And Masamune was continuing to build up his relationship with Tokugawa Ieyasu and his clan. And so, when Tokugawa Ieyasu became the shogun of Japan, he actually gifted the Sendai domain to Masamune. This right here is what it's become, the city of Sendai. But Date Masamune was not just a fearsome warrior. He was also interested in expanding his territory, in politics, and even in foreign affairs. In fact, Date Masamune, when he was building up Sendai and developing it into the current city that it is today, he would invite foreigners and promote tourism in his area. And he would even send different ambassadors all the way to Spain and Rome. And he even sent an envoy to the Pope. And as it would turn out, Masamune was actually at the very least, Christian empathizer. He set free a number of different missionaries that were under Tokugawa's hold, and he also allowed missionaries to come into the Sendai area and not only practice their faith, but also spread the gospel in the area. And it wasn't until, regrettably, when Tokugawa closed off the borders to Japan in the 250 years of isolation known as the Tokugawa period, that Tokugawa would require all of his different daimyo under him to persecute and eliminate any Christians. And so even though Masamune wasn't into the idea, he actually continued with Tokugawa Ieyasu's wishes. And so today, it's because of Date Masamune's efforts to improve the region that many people believe Sendai is the largest city in the Tohoku region. So, before you go, I actually had something special I wanted to show you guys. Now, while I was wandering around Sendai, I was trying to find some Date merch that I could buy for myself, but I couldn't really find anything that matched my style. So I hired an artist, and she made some designs, and honestly, I liked them so much that I wanted to share them with you guys as well. So if you're interested, we have different merch with Date Masamune as well as some other Japan-related content that you can find at our store, which, if you wanted to check that out, I have a link both in the comment below and also in the description below. And in addition to that, what'd you guys think of the video? Did you like Date Masamune? Do you think he's as cool as I do? And in addition, if you found the video informative or helpful, please consider sharing this video with someone else or leaving a like. And if you like samurai-related content, which I know I do, check out this playlist where I talk about different samurai-related information as well as everything in a katana. It's a pretty cool playlist, and I'd love to hear what you think of it. And in addition to that, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please consider leaving that like or sharing it with someone. It helps us tremendously with growing our channel so that we can continue to provide more videos for you guys. So, with all that said, thank you so much, and Dice Quirk, out.